Now, the dynamic cost agent can be very helpful when it comes to machining. And so what I'm going to do here is copy this machining analysis and paste it. And I'll append the name of this with agent so we can see it's different. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete each of these machine tool setups and their operations. So I didn't time how long it took to do this analysis, but I'm going to tell you, for someone who knows what they're doing, it was on the order of 10 minutes maybe to go through that, add the setups, define each of the cuts, add the operations. Maybe it takes a little longer if you're trying to read dimensions off a drawing and things like that. When I add the agent here, you can see instead of inserting machine tool setup, I can insert the dynamic cost agent for machining. And when I do that, it replaces all of those setups and operations with this one line item here, where I can enable the dynamic cost agent. And I can see here, all it wants me to tell it is this information. How many finished turned machined features are there? And so it turns out, if I counted through that number of setups, there's 4. And how many drilled holes are there? Well, there are 5. And so if I make those selections and click calculate, the software calculates for me machining time based on the information that has been defined, which is just that: 4 turned features, 5 holes. And if I go to the results menu now and I choose the cost totals, I can see the cost totals for this cost agent. Well, I can also see the cost totals for the one that took me maybe 15 minutes to analyze. And if I have it baseline against one against the other, you can see in about, I don't know, how long did that take me? 15 seconds. I've added secondary machining. I've told it how many features there are, and I'm getting an answer that's within 4% of what the cost of doing it, let's call it the long way or the hard way, was, by defining all of the cuts and all of the details. So there's a lot going on in the background with how it's determining what's important, how it's looking at what those machine features are and how they're going to be machined, and all of the things that are taking place to arrive at the cost result. But you can see very quickly now you can add secondary, do primary machining operations and get cost estimates that are very accurate relative to our baseline analysis very quickly. And that's what we wanted to do, was simplify the process of doing a machining analysis, give you accurate results, and allow you to quickly determine whether or not something makes sense relative to other processes, and then either do more detailed analysis if you want to, or move on.